Hi, everybody. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristinedeluise. And please like and subscribe the channel, please. It means a lot. I've watched many people podcasts, and they'll have thousands and thousands of views and like 2 likes. It's really important for you to please like the video, please. Today we are talking about Nora Roberts, or J.D. Robb, Survivor in Death, and we're talking about Eve Dallas, who's a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department in the future, and she sees her job as a cop. She doesn't see her job as a wife. She sees her job as a cop. That's her sole view. And as Eve grew up in the foster system, so she's not used to social situations. She's not used to presents. She's not used to parties. She's used to being alone and dependent on herself. And by this point in the series, she's not only got Roarke as a husband, but she's got Summerset. She's got Peabody as a partner, mcnabb, Mavis, Leonardo, Trina, Louise, Charles, a whole slew, Baxter, Trueheart, a whole slew of friends and associates that she's never had before. Oh, and Feeney. And so she's dealing with all that. And while we've been through 20 or so books, it's only been about 2 years or 2-3 years in the time frame of her. And she's also not used to Rock giving herself and clothes and all the whole 9 yards and the fairy. And we'll talk about that later. But Survivor in Death, she has to deal with a new situation. Children. Well, she had Kevin previously, but not for long. Rock might need that again. But she has to deal with children in this book, and she's not used to it, and she's not comfortable with it. And she has to learn how to deal with it. And Nora has always said that Eve will never do the children thing. If she does the children thing, the series is over. And we don't want the series over. We want the series to go on forever and ever and ever. So there's these soldiers, and they had this thing happen to them, or one of them had this thing happen to them years ago, and he's been on this vengeance thing, and he's been carrying out this vengeance for years, but it takes Eve a while to figure it out. In the meantime, these military people break into this well-to-do upper middle class family, innocent people, and they go in and they slaughter them all. And because the Dysons were having their wedding anniversary, their kid was staying over at the Swisher's house, and Nixie got out of bed to go get a soda, and when the bad guys came in, she hid, and because the bad guys were only expecting a family of 4 and the housekeeper, they missed her completely. So they were also out for vengeance for her. So, page practically okay. Peabody squared her shoulders. It's harder when it's kids. It's supposed to be. Eve stepped to the next room, called for lights, and studied the fluffy pink and white bed. The little girl with her blonde hair matted with blood. 9-year-old Nixie Swisher, according to the records. Practically a baby. Yeah, Eve scanned the room and her head cocked. What do you see, Peabody? Some kid who will never get the chance to grow up. But Eve is more observant. Eve sees what others do not see. And Peabody hopes to achieve this one day. Yeah, Eve scanned the room and her head cocked. What do you see, Peabody? Some poor kid who will never get the chance to grow up. 2 pairs of shoes over there. Kids, especially upper income swimming shoes. 2 of those backpack deals kids haul their stuff in. You seal up yet? No. I have. Eve walked into the crime scene, reached down with a sealed hand and picked up the shoes. Different sizes. Go get first unseen. With the shoes still in hand, Eve turned her back to the bed. to the child as Peabody hurried out. Then she set them aside, took an identity pad out of her field kit. Yes, it was harder when it was a child. It was hard to take such a small hand in yours, such a small, lifeless hand, to look down at the young who had been robbed of so many years, all the joys, all the pains that went in them. She pressed the fingers to the pad, waited for the readout. Officer Grimes, Lieutenant, Peabody said from the doorway, first unseen. Who called this in, Grimes? Eve asked without turning around. Sir, unidentified female. And where is this unidentified female? You gotta read it. So, they find Nixie. And I've talked about this particular scene previously. Nixie's sleepy questions broke Eve's rhythm as she drove through the gates toward home. Yeah, in a castle? It's not a castle. Okay, maybe it looked like one, she admitted. The vastness of it, the stones gleaming in the early light, with all those juts and towers, that space of green and trees shimmering with the last sparks of fall. But that was just Rourke for you. He didn't do ordinary. It's just a really big house. It's a mag house, Peabody added, with a smile for Nixie. Lots of rooms, tons of wall screens and games, and even a pool. In the house? Yeah, and you can swim in it. I love these stories. I just do. I'm sorry, I just do. I love these. I am an Eve Dallas fan. Why don't you bring her down here? It's a nice, comfortable space and might help put her at ease. I'll bring her down. Summerset faded out of the doorway and left Eve frowning. Am I going to owe him for this? Eve wondered. For you know, riding herd or whatever you call it, because I really hate that. I think you're fortunate to have someone on premises who's willing and able to tend a young, traumatized girl. Yeah, shit, Eve sighed. I was afraid of that. See, Eve, Summerset, Mira's trying to help her out. Eve's got to appreciate that Summerset has all this experience. And every time Nixie sees Eve, she's like, did you catch him yet? You said you were going to catch him. And he's like, I'm working on it. I just love these books. I do. I hope you enjoyed this stuff as much as I do. Her first step was contacting Feeney, captain of the Electronics Detectives Division. He popped on her link screen, weary gingy hair threaded with silver, saggy face, rumpled shirt. It was a relief to her that his wife's recent attempt to spruce him up with eye-popping suits had gone belly up. I'm catching up, she said briskly. You got word on the Swisher case, home invasion? 2 kids. His face, comfortably morose, hardened. When I got wind, I went to the scene myself. And they talk some more. It's always, you'll have them. I'm putting weight on this one. Got grandchildren that age, for Christ's sake. Whatever you need on this one, you got it. Thanks. Her eyes narrowed on as he sipped again. Is that real coffee? He blinked, eased the mug out of sight. Why? Because I can see it on your face. I can see it in your eyes. What if it is? Where'd you get it? He shifted. Even with her screen view, she could tell he squirmed. Maybe I swung by your office to update you and you weren't there, and maybe since you've got a damn unlimited supply of this stuff, I got myself one lousy mug. Now see, Eve, she's got one view for herself. And she has one view for the cops. And the rest of us, the fans, have often said, and then, we agree that this is how Eve would do it. This is her wheelhouse. But we all think that all the cops should have access to the good coffee. That Rourke should put in his own vending machines with the real coffee. And she doesn't think that would spoil the cops. That would just spoil them, and she doesn't want them spoiled. She wants them focused on the job. And same thing with her office, her little closet office. She's happy with it. She doesn't want a bigger office because if she got a bigger office, then people would come in it, and she doesn't want people in it. Like I said, she's not used to social situations. And her visitor's chair, it's uncomfortable, it's horrible. And even though really high up ranking people come in it, and she'll go sit in it and let them sit in her chair. And they keep saying to her, you need to get new chairs. And she's like, well, I don't want new chairs. Because if I get new chairs, then I'm going to have visitors. And the visitors are going to stay longer. And I think, and some people think, and some people don't think, but some people understand Eve's thinking. But I think that she should be considerate, especially when other people, high-ranking people, visitors, come into, like Mavis and them, come into the room, and they deserve to be able to sit on a regular chair, not a painful chair. And it's just Eve's mentality. It's just how she thinks. And we all gotta, whether we like it or not, it's Eve. And there's one or two things way down the line that I'm like, yeah, all right, I get it. But I'm still wish it would go that way. But we'll get there. When she walked towards Homicide in the massive beehive of Cops Central, she spotted Detective Baxter at a vending unit, getting what passed for coffee. She dug out credits, flipped them to him. Tube of Pepsi. Still avoiding contact with vending machines, still working. They don't piss me off, I don't kick them into rubble. Heard about your case, he said, as he plugged in her credits, and so did every reporter in the city. You got most of them hassling me, media liaison, and hammering for an interview with the primary. Reporters aren't on my to-do list at the moment. She took tube of Pepsi he offered, frowned. You said most. Why is Nadine First of Channel 75 in my office? Now see, she's got the auto chef in her office if she would think, and it takes like $30. She'd have Pepsi or Coke in her machine besides coffee. But the vending machine is a running gag through the whole series, and we enjoy it. We like it. We get a kick out of it. Eve's frustration, computers, vending machines, and the cars. And doormen. Those are fun. Now, technically, we shouldn't be beating up on people, but it makes Eve's day. Whereas Rourke, on the other hand, would just slip him a couple. Yeah. So it's just cool. Security and streetlights were popping on by the time Eve headed back uptown from Central. Normally, the vicious traffic would have given her plenty of reason to snarl and bitch, but tonight she was grateful for the distraction and the extra drive time. It was gelling for her. She could see the method, the type of killer. She could walk through the crime scene over and over in her mind and follow the steps, but she couldn't find motive. She sat in stalled traffic behind a flatulent maxi bus and circled around the case again. Violence without passion, murder without rage. Where was the kick, the profit, the reason? Going with instinct, she called up Rourke's personal link on her dash unit. Lieutenant, what's your status, she asked. Healthy, wealthy, and wise. What's yours? Ha, mean, crafty, and rude. She is. Oh, and then Nixie has bad dreams, and Eve has no clue what to do. Now, Rourke has dealt with her with the bad dreams, and Somerset has dealt with her with the bad dreams, so they know what to do. And Somerset, being a former parent, knows what to do. But Eve goes and she freezes, and once Somerset and Rourke have the situation, she's like, oh, I can be the cop and check under the bed and check in the closet. That works. And waiting, watching Eve felt raw and scraped inside. She knew what it was to be chained in nightmares where something unspeakable came for you. The pain and the blood, the fear and the agony. Even after it was over, the dregs of this stained the edges of your mind. Somerset rose, stepped away from the bed. That should help her. I have her room on monitor. Should she wake again for the moment, sleep is the best thing for her. The best thing is me finding who did this. Yeah, her parents will still be dead, but she'll know why, and she'll know the people who did it are in a cage. That happens, it will be better than a soother. Yeah, it'll still hurt though. It'll still massively, massively hurt. Um, and the Dysons were supposed to be her foster parents, but because their daughter died, they want no part of Nixie at all. And Rourke goes looking to try and help Eve find people, and he runs into some really horrible people. But we'll get back. Well, that's a really nice. That's a pleasant ending to the story. Is what happens with that. But I'm getting ahead of the game here. So she's been having Mira come in and counsel the kid occasionally, and this happens a few times, and it's a really light moment, not just in this book, but in other books too. Um, uh, do you know all the police? Nixie wanted to know. No, not all, but quite a few. I'd like to talk to you again, Nixie, but I wonder if you could show me how to play that machine. It looks like fun. Rourke has an entire room of pinball machines. Now, those of you who don't know, go research it. Those are fun. They used to be everywhere. Sometimes you'll find them in bowling alleys. The old pinball machines with the flappers and the bells and whistles and the lights light up. And there used to be a whole bunch of like Starsky and Hutch and Charlie's Angels, all kinds of machines. And Ski. You remember Ski? You threw the ball up and it had to land in the holes. They sometimes do that on um, reality shows for contests and stuff. Not at all, but quite a few. I'd like to talk to you again, Nixie, but first I wonder if you could show me how to play that machine. It looks like fun. I guess if you want, I do. I need to turn off the screen first. But it's Mavis! She's the alt! Oh, I think so too. Mira smiled at the cool suspicion in Nixie's eyes. I have quite a few of her discs myself. Do you know Lieutenant Dallas and Mavis are friends? Very good friends? Get back! Then she bit her lip. Excuse me, I'm not supposed to sass adults. That's okay. You were just surprised. Eve, huh? She'd been wondering why a mostly naked Mavis and company on screen was inappropriate for a kid who'd seen murder up close and personal. Oh yeah, Mavis and I are pals. You talk to her in person? Well, sure. Does she ever come here, right to the house? All the time. Listen, if I can swing it and she's not busy, I'll see that she can come by sometime. You can meet her and whatever. For real? For real, kid. I love these light little moments. I do. So what will you do next? Eve asked aloud. What will you do? There was a sharp knock on her door, then Peabody shoved it open. You didn't call me in. I heard it on the goddamn screen. I need you tomorrow. I need you fresh. Bullshit. Eve sat where she was through a low vibration had begun to hum in her blood. Crossing a line, detective. I'm your partner. This case is mine too. I knew those guys. I'm also your lieutenant. And you're going to want to be careful before you end up with an insubordinate in your file. F my file and F you too. If you think I'd give a rat's ass about it. Slowly Eve rose out of a chair. Peabody's chin jutted out, her jaw clenched, and so did her fist. Going to take a shot at me, detective? You'll be on your ass and bloody before you finish the swing. Maybe. In all the time they'd worked together, Eve had seen Peabody pissed, hurt, sad, and ready to rumble, but she'd never seen her boiling with all of it. A choice had to be made, and quickly. Plow in, step back. Just as quickly, Eve decided to do neither. Her eyes stayed steady, her stance at the ready. You're beautiful when you're angry. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And I just love these books. So Peabody McNabb had to go on a little field trip to investigate something. And I just love this little, because it happens every once in a while. The two-passenger shuttle landed in a small cargo station in North Platte. As per Rourke's memo, there was a vehicle waiting for the last leg of the trip. Peabody and McNabb stood in the chilly evening air staring at the sleek black jewel. Oh my God, I thought the shuttle was Meg. Heart skipping, Peabody circled. You know, the sleep chairs, the comp stations, the menu on the auto chef, the speed, McNabb added with a dopey grin. Peabody sent him one back. Yeah, way uptown, but this is a beast. McNabb trailed his fingers over the hood. Man, this baby's got a swing. Bet your ass. But when she started to open the driver's side door, he took her arm. Wait, who says you get to pilot? My partner's primary. Not good enough. Her husband provided the transpo. Not even, he said with a shake of his head. I got a grade on you, detective baby. I don't know. But, so if you want to read how Eve figured out who the people were and how little Miss Ophelia plays a really good clue, and how Nixie meets the Kevin, and we will see Nixie again. She will come back to haunt Eve, and it's important for Nixie to do this stuff, and Eve has to learn to deal with it. But it's a really good book, and I hope you've watched all my other previous videos on this series. There's 57 so far, and we will keep going, and we have many more series to go through, because I'm a series person. But please like and subscribe the video, it's really important. And please enjoy J.D. Robb, Nora Roberts, Survivor and Death. Nixie is really good, and this is a really good book. Please like and subscribe, it's really, really important. Thank you.